Hi, I am Priyanka, founder of Braino Script and a trusted expert on strategizing self growth. So, out of all the topics, the spectrum of self growth, the biggest problem that people facing these days is burnout. Everyone wants to scale up their things. They want to learn the new skill set. They want to grow themselves intellectually. They want to follow a certain routine. They want to get fit. They want to be the best at their relationship. And sometimes you put so much on your plate that you yourself get overwhelmed and you start questioning yourself that where am I going? What have I started with my life? And you feel like it is all chaotic inside your head and you feel burnout. Okay. You put yourself so much into the process that you forget that what is it that you were seeking out of your life. There is this one forwarded message floating all across the WhatsApps which says that I would rather be happy crying in a Mercedes. I am very against this idea. Why would you love to cry? Getting a Mercedes is another thing. But if it comes at a cost of you sitting inside it and crying, it makes zero sense. You know what is the ultimate purpose of life? It is not about accumulating all of these materialistic things. Not I'm saying because I want you to be discouraged to work hard and hustle. You have to do that. But ultimately, you need is that joyfulness, that blissfulness, that happiness deep inside of you, which comes out through you and radiates across you. It changes your vibration, it changes the way you look at the world. And you know what? It doesn't come from burnout. There are so many things, which second this thought. So, why have I chosen this unrealistic expectations topic today? Because we set so many expectations out there, okay, as well as to ourselves, and we link ourselves with those expectations. We feel like, okay, if I'm able to do this, then I'll be happy. If I'm like a 10 kilos less, I'll be happy. If I achieve that new job, I'll be happy. If I start my new business, I'll be happy. And while doing that, if you're chasing happiness, there is no point. It means that you'll never be happy. You have to enjoy the process. You have to enjoy what is happening right now. So there are two things which come out of this. Number one, putting so much on your plate and getting overwhelmed. Number two, doing things which do not excite you. Okay. So we have to manage all of these things, how to do, what to do. Stay along with me for next 20 minutes and I'll be explaining everything to you in detail. But before getting into that, I would request you to keep your pen and paper handy because I might say something so insightful that will bang on in your mind and you'll be like, okay, I have to start thinking about this with a new perspective. So, with this, let us jump directly inside of the session without wasting any further time. And I want all of you to keep writing the answers to the questions that I ask during this session. Do not take it as any normal video that you're watching. This is, in a way, a consultation call. It is a conversation between me and you. I'll be taking your questions by the end of this session, and the people who are watching this video on different social media portals, you can put your questions on the comments and I will answer all of them. Okay. So, expectation is the mother of all disappointments. We have been listening to this one quotation since ages. You know why expectations are so hurtful? Because your brain is a predicting machine. Your brain loves to predict things. Okay. So when you are going to a guest, or when some new member enters your family, say you start dating a girl or a boy, or you get married to someone, or someone in your family gets married, some new member enters in your house. Suddenly, with every single move that person makes, you start predicting what type of a person he or she would be. Similarly, when you start off with your business, with every single step, you keep on predicting, okay, the ads went good today. I am going to make billions out of this business. The ad, it just crashed. I will be broken. So this is how we keep on predicting the future. And this future prediction comes with expectations only. Do you get me? Like only and only when I have some hopes for the future, I will be expecting something out of future. That is the only point when I'll get disappointed. What if I change my glasses and I start looking at every single day of my life with curiosity? Let us see what this day has to bring to me. Let us see what this new ad or marketing strategy does to my business. Let me see what this new employee has caliber to do and contribute in your company. Let me see how this new job role can, help me grow in my life. So when you look at your life with the lenses of curiosity, you will always be ready for that surprise. Otherwise, what happens, you expect and you create a bar. Okay. If something happens better than the bar, you feel happy. The dopamine hits. But if something happens below this, you feel so sad. You feel so devastatingly sad that you feel like nothing was worth putting in effort. So, before even starting the session, I want all of you to look at the world with curiosity. Anything. Whenever you feel sad about something, like let us say that I wish that you have an early flight and you were expecting that your spouse should wake up early and should be all around you helping you across the things, and if the partner does not do that, and while traveling to the airport you're thinking that, oh my gosh, she's so pathetic or he's so pathetic, he's not even bothered about me and he's not even bothered to help me out. Ask this question to yourself: am I expecting things wrong here? Cannot I be curious? Let me see how this person helps me out. I know this might look bizarre to you because at the very start of something, it looks vague and bizarre. Let me come across this point with certain proofs, with certain strategies, and it will make complete sense to you by the end of the session. Okay. So for now, look at your life with the glasses of curiosity, not expectations. Now, what is expectation? Expectation is creating a bar, as I already told you. It is like thinking about, okay, I should wake up at 6 o'clock only. I should exercise every single day. I should take care of my diet. And what am I doing? I'm not asking my present tense, okay? I'm not asking my 7 days track record. I'm not asking my 1 year track record. I'm not looking at it. But what I'm doing, I'm continuously expecting something out of myself and I'm beating myself around. Do you get me? For example, if you wake up every single day at 8 a.m., if you suddenly start expecting from you that, okay, I want to turn around my life and from tomorrow I'll start waking up at 5 a.m. If you do not wake up at 5 a.m., what do? You you just ridicule yourself. You're such a failure. You're such a loser. You did it again. You cannot wake up. You snoozed the alarm again. You did this again. But you know what? You've created this pattern of waking up at 8 o'clock. This is what your body expects, okay? That I will be fresh when I'll wake up at 8 o'clock. But now, when you're breaking that pattern, when you are jumping back at 5 o'clock, what happens here is you have unrealistically shifted the expectations, and your body and your mind is not in coordination with that expectation of yours, okay? I am myself a very ambitious girl, but at the same time, I'm strictly against unrealistic expectations. Whenever you set goals, I've read this in a book and it made complete sense to me. If you set goals, always talk about the track record, and from the see, you do not jump like this, okay? The growth always happens like this. Okay, so you have to look at your previous track record. You have to watch. Okay, if you want to if you want to lose like 10 kgs of weight in the next 3 months, you would have to watch your eating habits in last 3 months. If you want to scale your business to 10x in next 6 months, you would have to look at your business and your revenue for the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Because if you do not create a trajectory based on what you've been doing, you do that run up, right? The aeroplane does not fly like this. The aeroplane has to run off, right? So you have to create good, right expectations out of yourself. So to answer this question, what is expectation? It is a bar that you create for yourself that makes you feel fulfilled. It is not about happiness. It is about fulfillment. Okay. If I get this, I'll be fulfilled. If I purchase a new car, I'll be fulfilled. If I, whatever it is, it's either materialistic or immaterialistic, anything. But expectation is that. Now, expectation comes to us in two ways. Number one is self expectation. What do I expect from myself? Okay. So, this comes from all the roles that I play as a person. Okay. I'm a mother, I am a daughter, I'm a wife, I run a business, I have clients, I have employees, I have collaborative partners, I have, all the people I work along with. So, I create my expectations based on the role that I play in all of those relationships. That is number one. Number two, I create self expectations on my self growth journey. Okay, this is Priyanka in 2023. What will Priyanka be in 2024? That is my self expectation. I have to continuously grow. I have to continuously upgrade. I have to continuously upskill. So that is my self expectation. What is the next thing? What health and well being do I expect from myself? That is again another sector of self expectation. Again, what comes is, you know, what are the things that you contribute, that you create out of yourself, out of your intellect, with your hands, that you actually put your work into. Then you have a certain expectation out of yourself that if I am doing a presentation, it has to be damn good. Okay, so these kind of things, they create a self expectation out of yourself. So that is one thing. Okay, the other thing is expectation from others. What my parents should do, what my siblings should do, what my spouse should do, what my son should do, what my employees should do, what my boss should do. So I create expectations on all the levels, not only in the relationships, but as a society in whole. Like we have gender specific expectation that some person has to do something, right? There is this stereotype. Again, we have social expectation that this people, the people of this region, they do this certain thing. Okay. So we create expectations like this. So these are self expectations and expectations from others. And we have to monitor both of these expectations when we are talking about unrealistic expectations, because we can be unreal in both the worlds. Okay. To be very frank, we actually get unreal in both the worlds and we overwhelm ourselves and we beat around ourselves only. Okay. So this is the thing. So why to overcome unrealistic expectations? The biggest problem is that when the expectations are not met, when the other person does not respond the way you want them to, or when you do not show up the way you want to, you get disappointed. And disappointment does not add energy to your system. Okay, it takes away energy. So okay, let me come to this point. There are emotions which add energy to your system. They make you feel expanded in the heart. It makes you feel expanded. The expansion happens inside, you can feel it, and you feel lighter. Okay, so these emotions are happiness, of kindness, of talking to the people you love, of doing all the good things around. But disappointment is a negative emotion. It takes away the energy. Okay, it is an energy drainer. So if you're disappointed, you know what? You will start looking at the things which cause problems. The more you look at the problems, the more you see the problems. The more you see the problems, the more disappointed you become, and it becomes a vicious circle of negativity, and it sulks you down. And do you think that when you're sulking down and when you are getting into a pit, you'd be able to do miraculously well in your professional or personal life? No. Okay, you'll not be able to do that. You'll not be able to contribute to the highest level that you can do otherwise. That is the number one problem. Number two is stress. So, for an example, like you're working on a certain thing and your manager is not approving that work. You expected that if I put this plan ahead, my manager will definitely, will be wowed with my presentation and with my approach and my perspective, and I'll get a kudos for that. And that doesn't happen. What happens here is you start accumulating that stress inside of your system, and you start thinking that, okay, now what should I do? Because you know what happened? That was not only about the praise. You start thinking that if I started this project, what will all happen? The prediction machine, right? Your brain is a prediction machine. Your brain will start thinking, okay, this project will wow them. Then I'll start doing this, and then I'll get this promotion, this raise. And if I get this raise, I'll purchase this new bungalow and I'll get this new car and stuff. You create all of these fantasies inside of your head without even validating the first one. And the whole structure of your dream was created over the foundation of what? Over the foundation of expectation. Unrealistic. And now, when this foundation is lost, the whole building comes down and it creates stress in your system. Now comes low self esteem. Low self esteem can come in both the parts, with self expectations as well as with expectations from others. When you expect something from yourself, like you want to reduce weight, let us say you want to reduce weight from 10 kgs from last 3 years. But if you look at yourself, All the images that you see of yours today and versus the images that you see of yours 3 years back, they look almost the same. Okay, there is no change happening. You've stagnated there. So what happens here, if you keep on thinking about that so much without putting in efforts, just keep on thinking and overwhelming yourself, you you lose your self-esteem. You start second guessing yourself. You look at the mirror and you start ridiculing. Look at you. Again, you did the same. Okay, look at the double chin. You start looking at the flaws around and you disappoint yourself. You get into that low self-esteem. And again, with a low self-esteem, winning big wars, big battles, it will never happen. The other thing, when it happens with two people, like let us say that you're dating someone, you're expecting that this person would be all goody, lovey-dovey kind of a person. He'll show up with flowers at my door. He'll take me to a new movie, and we'll be going out on date. And that person is busy. That person cannot give you that much time. But your meaning making machine or your prediction system created created a meaning that, okay, maybe I'm not good enough. That is why this person is not giving me time. So what happened here? You undervalued yourself. Okay. So in both the places, wherever you put unrealistic expectations, you suffer from negative emotions. All right. That is why this was very important for me to pick up as a topic and communicate to all of you. Techniques to overcome unrealistic expectations. Strategy number 1, understanding what these unrealistic expectations are. The first thing I told you, always think about the track record. Okay, always, if you want to predict the future, never forget what the past has been. You would have to take a runway. Okay, it doesn't happen like one day, one shot. No, setting goals or standards that are beyond your abilities, resources, or circumstances, or that are based on external pressures rather than your own values and capabilities. Now, what happens here is there are two things that are happening. Number one is you are creating a goal or you're creating some expectations out of yourself where you need certain resources, you need certain circumstances, and they are not under your control and they are not available. Okay, let me give you an example to this. As I told you, reducing weight. Let us take the same thing. Maybe the circumstances are not allowing you. Maybe you do not have the right routine. Maybe you do not have the right set of people around you. Maybe you're so exhausted that you're not training your willpower enough to show up every single day. Okay, so you do not have the groundwork done. And now suddenly, if you create a goal that in the next 2 months I'll reduce 10 kgs, I'll shed off 10 kgs of my weight, it will not happen. You would have to look at the track record. Okay. Now, the next thing is it is based on external pressures rather than your own values and capabilities. Now, this is something which you usually see during teenagers. Okay. During 11th and 12th, every second person is appearing for IITs and NEETs, and these people they're going towards a particular thing and preparing for their examination without thinking, without giving a second thought that is this something aligning to my values and my capabilities, or I'm just doing this because of this external noise, which asks for validation about it. Okay, so you have to find out that are your expectations realistic, and to check it, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. Okay, you have to check yourself on what are the two things where you usually over expect. You know if you put your hand on your heart, you know that this is something that I will not be able to do. And even if I do for a couple of days, I'll not be able to do it sustainably. So, what are the two things? I want all of you to please write it down on that piece of paper or comment it to me. I would love to see what are the two areas where you usually over expect. The people I know in my community, they usually over expect themselves on waking up early, on shedding weight, on completing a certain course or upskilling themselves. They feel like, okay, I'll be reading this book in the next 10 days, and the book is of 400 pages, and this person has no habit of reading. Do you get me? This is unrealistic expectation. Okay. You need discipline. I know you need willpower. I know, but at the same time, you need to understand that there is a track record with which my body has already this law of physics happen here also. Okay, you cannot just surpass it. There is a process to it. You have to eventually create that system for yourself. Okay. Now, the second thing, Second strategy is self-awareness. You need to know who you are. You need to know that what type of a person you are. Okay. There are certain people who know that they are so stubborn that if they say one thing, they will definitely do it. And there are certain people who know that they are saying it from their mouth and the brain is saying "Rehne de, rehne de, nahi kar payega." Do you get me? So when this noise from the inside comes that this will not happen, please recheck. Okay, being ambitious is okay, but there are certain things which are very ambitious. Okay, and if you keep your expectation bars here, and if you keep your efforts here, it creates this gap, and this gap is nothing but stress. The more widened this gap happens to be, the more stress you'll feel, the more unfulfilled you'll feel, the more meaningless you'll feel. So there are two ways out. Either you reduce this goal a little and increase your efforts a little, then reduce the goal a little and increase your efforts so that it looks reachable. So if I wake up at 8 o'clock every single day, I'll first tell myself, let me wake up at 7:30. It should look reachable. Okay. Once I wake up at 7:30 for 1 week or 2 weeks by giving myself some rewards, by getting some accountability partners, once I reach that goal, then I'll ask myself to wake up at 7. After 1 week, I'll wake up at 6:30. And slowly and eventually, I'll reach to my goal of 5 o'clock. Okay. I know there are certain people, 5% of people, they'll directly start getting up at 5 a.m. and they are crazy, they'll do crazy stuff. But I'm speaking to those 95% people who set goals and who keep on failing, who create a timetable and keep on, just tearing it and making another one. So please assess yourself, understand yourself, because growth for growth, the first step will always be self-awareness. Unless and until you understand who you are, what type of a person you are, nothing is happening. Okay, you need to understand who you are. All right, write what you are unsatisfied it and unsatisfied with, and what can you do about it. Write down one aspect of all the things, like self or with others, all the things, the biggest thing that keeps you unsatisfied, this discomfort that happens inside. It could be your professional growth, it could be your career, it could be anything. Okay, I want you to answer me that what is that one area which gives you this pain inside, that okay, I'm not very happy with myself on this vertical. Okay, write that one thing down, and before sleeping, journal about it. That what can I do for it? I know, I know a lot of you feel that you are putting in your time and your efforts into your careers and your profession, but you are not getting those results, and you know that your potential is way higher than this. Okay, so potential unmet is pain. Okay, if you know that you have potential and if you know that you're not doing the things right, it will cause that pain. So if you're feeling that pain intensely inside your heart, I want you to just tear it open and write about it. Are you really not satisfied with your career growth? Are you really not satisfied with your relationship? Are you really not satisfied with the way you show up? Are you really not satisfied with your health and wellness? What is it that is causing you pain? Write it down on a piece of paper and create an action plan. What can you do about it? Because you know what? If you live inside of your head, if you keep on thinking, nothing is changing, right? The biggest distance on this planet is from thinking to doing. Okay. For all the people who say North Pole and South Pole, no, no, no. The biggest distance is from thinking to doing. Okay. So please keep this in your mind and write down what you are unsatisfied with, because this will give you a direction to work towards. Strategy number 3, effective communication. Now, this effective communication happens both the ways, okay, for yourself also and for the other people also. Let us talk about the self first. The number of times when you create a plan for yourself and you slip off, how do you talk to yourself? If you say that you failed again, you messed up again, you did this again, you are a loser, you always do this. This is what you keep on doing, and that is why you are here. Your class teacher in 5th standard told you that you are a failure, and you'll keep on doing like that. You're not enough. You've not been taught well. You do not understand things well. Anything that comes to your mind for that matter. How do you communicate your feelings to yourself? First of all, you have to understand that You are not a failure. Okay. You attempted for a certain thing and you failed at that thing. So you failed at that one thing. Dissociate yourself from that failure. Don't say that I am a failure. I failed at this, which is okay. Everyone does. Okay. Making mistakes, failing certain times. It is something which is as usual as eating, sleeping, breathing. Okay. You and me, we are no exceptions. The other thing, communication, like what is your self talk at that time? You have to be kinder to yourself. Okay. So if you slip off, if you get out of track, that is okay. But if you remain out of track, that is what is not okay. You have to pull yourself back. You keep on falling, you keep on pulling, you keep on falling, you keep on pulling. That is pulling, that is life. Okay. So I want all of you to understand that you're human beings. You're not robots. You cannot be programmed and from tomorrow you'll behave in a robotic manner. You cannot do that. Okay. We have emotions, we have circumstances, we have moods, we have hormones, we have so much of it. We are complex. Okay. But we need to understand one thing, that the way we talk to ourselves has to be kinder than what we're doing right now. Okay. The other thing, that communication with other people. There are so many examples that have come across to me in the last 7, 8 years, 9 years of serving you all. People keep expectations from other people without telling them that they are expecting something out of them. You have to be very clear about your expectations. If you really want something, go ahead and tell that person. If you need help, go and ask. It is no rocket science, and the other human being is not God. They might not understand, which is completely okay. All right. So I want you to effectively communicate to the people around you, because we human beings, we're social animals. We get very much affected if there is any friction in the relationships, especially the closed ones. So please be very vocal, be very expressive, communicate in some way. I know some people, they do not like to express, they do not know how to express, but I want you to think it in this term, that if you have some needs from someone, go ahead and tell that person that, hey, I want you to do this for me. How would you like this to go ahead? What do you think? Can you help me like this or not? Do you think that I'm over expecting from yourself? Talk to yourself in all these terms. It is very, very important. And you know what? Initially, I was also like this. I used to keep things to myself, and I used to, keep thinking inside of my head, like I did this for her birthday. Let me see what my bestie does for my birthday. Why to keep on thinking? Maybe her way of showing affection is totally different. Maybe she does not even remember dates. Okay. Effective communication. You need to communicate. Let us talk about teams. You have to tell it to your team members. I was watching this leadership interview, an interview on leadership of MS Dhoni. The thing he said that I learned in my entire career is that I have to tell each and everything to all of my teammates without assuming that this is a common sense. There is no common sense. The thing which looks as a common sense for you could be a rocket science for the other person. So you would have to communicate every single thing that you feel to. Do not assume. All right. So effective communication is strategy number 3. Right name of one person. You need to communicate what you expect in the relationship. So now let us talk about this relationship here. Wherever you feel, with your friends, with your family, siblings, parents, spouse, children, whatever it is, if you feel that the communication is not happening properly, or if you feel that there is some unfulfillment in that relationship, I want you to think about it and write it down. Okay, because when you write it down, you get clarity on your thoughts, and you can create an action plan which can help you to revive and rekindle this relationship. Okay, so think about it. Strategy number 4 is practice mindfulness. I know that you might have heard this many times, but I would repeat it again, that if you shake water, you cannot see through. You wait, let the water settle down, and now you look, you can see through. Okay. So when your brain is going through the chaos of problems, it becomes very difficult for you to think about the solutions. On a neuroscientific way, your limbic system gets triggered and you start behaving emotionally like normal mammals. How does a dog behave? How does any animal behave? If you just throw a stone at that animal, either that animal will fight, shout and come up to you, flee, run away, or freeze. It will try to hide behind something. Okay, so this is the limbic thing that happens. We all have this. Okay, so if some big problem comes to us suddenly, we behave in this way. We either fight back, or we freeze, or we fly away. We try to escape the situation. Now, but if you practice mindfulness, if you stay in that moment for 2 minutes, if you breathe in and breathe out for 10 times, trust me, your neural connection again switches on your prefrontal cortex, your intelligent brain. And once your intelligent brain comes into picture, it looks for solutions. You have to be mindful. You have to be present in the present. And the best way to do it is to breathe in and breathe out. I know it looks boring. I know it looks like, okay, come on, Priyanka, I am into a big trouble and you are asking me to breathe in and breathe out. Yes, do that. I'm asking you to do that. Trust me on this. Okay. Uh, I'm recently, I just read an article today that your brain has this remote control. Your brain works through the remote control of your breaths. And I've given the link of that study on my LinkedIn account. So you can search at the rate your coach Priyanka and you can go ahead and have a look at that paper. It is an amazing read. Okay. So practice mindfulness. You have to stay in the moment. You have to be present in the moment. Feel yourself. Look around for all of your senses. Okay. When you be present, you expect things in the present. You do not jump from future to past to future to past. No, you stay there. You think sane. Take regular breaks to tap into the present. It is very much important. Sometimes we feel that we do not need to rest. We just want to do work, 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 work. This work, 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 work is equal to burnout. Sooner or later you will burn out and you will feel that exhaustion. You'll feel that you know you'll not be able to take care of all of your emotions. It will all create the chaos inside of you and you do not know what to do out of this. Okay, so do what makes you happy. I know working around your passion makes you happier, but again, you need to take rest. You are not a robot. Even robots need charging. You need charging too. Take care of yourself. Strategy number 5, adjust boundaries. What do I mean by this is that you have to take care that what are the tasks that are adding energy to your system. What are the people when they come up, you like the stars glow in your eyes and you're like, yes, I want to talk to this person. If these people are coming to you, they're welcome. Spend time with them. But if someone is energy vampire, keep a one hand distance. Okay, stay away. If it is compulsory for you to stay with that energy vampire, create boundaries and adjust them. You have to adjust your boundaries. You have to create your boundaries. You need to know how much you will do, how much you will not do, how much is sustainable. Do not start with over promising and under delivering. No. Okay. Be intelligent enough to understand that, okay, today I'm doing this, but when this work that I'm doing, it becomes 10x, how much I would be able to give. Okay. And then promise. Do not make promises and commitments which you cannot fulfill, because if you do so, it hurts your credibility. And again, it hurts a lot of systems. I'll not get into the details of it. But do not create expectations of yourself into others' eyes that you cannot meet. Okay. Keep a check on tasks and people that create emotional discomfort and adjust your boundaries. Okay. So I want you to make a list of 3 people and 3 tasks that you do and you cry while doing. You really, really do not want and like doing those stuff. If you're doing those tasks, write down those 3 things and create your boundaries around it. You need to know that how much of this work is actually important for me to do and how much of it can I skip. The other thing is for people, very, very important. In fact, I'll put this people thing above the tasks. Who are the 3 people I seriously do not love to hang around with? Name them and create boundaries around them. Do not let them enter into your space. Okay? Because if you keep on doing so, they'll keep on taking away your energy. Thank you so much for being with me for this session. I really, really am privileged that you all are here and you all are a part of this webinar. And I hope and believe that you got some value from this session. I would love to read it in the chat box if you liked it. If there are some questions, please put it in the chat box. My eyes are here on the chat box.